Hey guys, welcome back to another AFTERBUZZ recap of WGN's Underground. We have a lot to talk about, so hang out with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh. Oh, this song gets me every time. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of WGN's Underground recap.
Hey now.
And this is season 2, episode 5, Whiteface.
Uh-oh. That's fun.
Whiteface. Whiteface. Let's get into it. So this is how the show opens up, with a minstrel show and some African Americans in whiteface.
Yeah.
And where can they follow us before we dive right into
Oh, yes. Sorry. I'm ready to get into this right now. Y'all can follow me. I'm Lina Green. Y'all can follow me at just Lina Green. I'm like, whiteface. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that right now. And these lovely ladies.
Hey everyone, you can follow me on all social platforms at hey_it's_lay.
What's up, y'all? Franceli Chapman here, and you can follow me at all things at Selly Hangout.
What's up, guys? I'm Lynneisha, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Lynneisha_33.
Okay. Now let's get into
That's
it.
out the way.
So it starts off with a minstrel show, and we see some African Americans in there in whiteface. Mm-hmm. And you see the people who are in the audience are all white, and they're laughing. Mm-hmm. They think it's funny because the guy's making fun of them, and he's doing funny things, and then they stop laughing, and they're like, wait a minute. What you doing? Like, this ain't funny no more. And it gets real serious.
0 to 100.
Yeah, real quick. And we see that this is a place that Kato kind of runs. And he's laughing hysterically.
Yes.
And the top, I was wondering how they were going to introduce Kato in this episode. Because, you know, they always have these dramatic entrances for him, and he's laughing hysterically while everybody else is getting up and leaving during this show. So that's really interesting during this time, that he is really, what he said at the end of the last episode, he's finna come forward and be a force to reckon with. So he starts with, you know, poking the bear, as he says, poking this bear and seeing like what's gonna happen. And I don't know, shoot, he might not want to poke the bear too much after what we see happens. I don't know. But that's how we're first introduced to Kato. And there's a lot that happens with Kato. And we're also introduced to Francis, too, who is Kato's kind of right-hand man. And we don't find out till later that Francis wants him to get back with Debbie. And we saw a lot of Debbie in the last episode. And so he goes off to, you know, he's trying to convince Kato to get back with Debbie, and like, you don't need to do this. Like, you don't have to be everyone's savior. You were happy in the life you were with. And Kato's like, nah, I ain't having
Before
that.
we want to move on, I kind of am interested in knowing you guys' perspective. How was it? Like, although we know Kato was having a time of his life laughing when, you know, they put on the show and it was the whiteface, watching it and just knowing, you know, where we are today in history with anyone putting on any type of face, black face, white face, no matter what it is. How was it watching the scene? Like, what was your reaction? Was it funny too? Or was it more like, eh?
Initial reaction, I did laugh because you haven't seen this, and this is a serious show.
Yeah.
And to see something like that is shocking. And my initial reaction to when I see anything that's shocking is laughter. My initial reaction to a lot of things are laughter, but to that was laughter. What about y'all?
For me, it's like, okay, yeah, you laugh at it a little bit, and then it's like, well, when you see them get upset, it's like, okay, well, now you know how it feels. Now that she was on the other foot, now you kind of know how we feel. So now it's like kind of like a ha-ha and in reverse, like a laughing at them instead of just laughing at the show.
Mm-hmm. You know, it reminded me, there's this play called The Scottsboro Boys. It's a musical, and it's about that time, and it's very minstrel, and it was very mixed reviews when it was on Broadway in New York. For that same reason, and I think of things like even Spike Lee's movie Chirac, like whenever people do this satirical kind of like way to try to hit the core of what's happening in America, I feel like when African Americans do it, it definitely gets a backlash. But even now, like with the Pepsi commercial, that's gotten a backlash.
Oh, with
so
Kendall
it's like,
Jenner.
yeah. So there's always this reverse of races trying to kind of hit home, and for whatever the reason, what we really are trying to say doesn't come across when it's done in that way. It's very controversial because it just hits very different emotions for different people. So for me, that was my automatic reaction. I thought about all the different movies and shows that have come out in the last 5 to 10 years that does that satirical storytelling, and even with this new controversy with Pepsi. Like, it's just like, how are we going to get it right to tell our stories in a way that's effective, using the medium of entertainment to effectively start cultivating conversations and activate change in the country? So
it's interesting you're talking about what the Pepsi commercial, how they use Kendall Jenner, who sells a lot of stuff. She's one of the Kardashian clan. She's in that clan, and she sells products. So they thought it would be a good idea. They thought, they didn't really think it through, to use her to say that she was behind the whole Black Lives Matter movement and behind, you know, and it's like... Really, you couldn't pick nobody else. There was nobody else out there that you could have picked for this campaign. You just wasted millions of dollars. Sorry.
Yeah.
You spent a lot on that.
That's why I appreciate a show like Underground, because there's so many other slave movies and slave shows that have come out, but it's always the white savior, and that's not necessarily how we want to be remembered and our stories to be told. And Underground tells a story where we kicked, screamed, clawed our way to our freedom ourselves, you know. I mean, of course, we had the help of our white counterparts, because it takes all of us to come together to make it happen. But no one comes in on a white horse and saves the day. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
those are my 2 cents on that one.
I do like how it shows that they do come together. You see Elizabeth and John and these people who are very passionate about this, very passionate. And while we're talking about Elizabeth, we are introduced to her in this episode. She's writing a letter, and she's very angry. She's like, I'm tired of this. And she even says it like later on when they kidnap her. She's like, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I am who I am. I'm supporting this cause. I don't care what y'all do to me.
She's definitely willing to go really far now. Like, that's it. And we talked about it. We predicted this, that Elizabeth was just going to go to the next level. And here we are. This is Elizabeth 2.0.
I think that's what happens when you have nothing to lose. Like, she literally
back up against
has nothing. I mean, besides... you know, the people that she's helping, like Rosalee and etc. Outside of that, she has no family. She has no one she's doing it for.
Well, Rosalee is the only family she has left.
Yeah,
it's her niece-in-law, right?
Yeah.
But she sees that Rosalee is like putting her own child on the line. Like, she was really upset. Like, girl, you didn't tell me you were pregnant. You were doing all this. What is happening? And to a certain set, like, that's real. Like, when your family is holding a secret and you feel like, man, we family, you ain't even tell me. Like, it's like she's willing to put her own child on the line for this cause. So it's like, man, I'm willing. I got nothing to lose either. If you didn't feel like we were family enough to try to stay and protect this baby, then I'm willing to do whatever it takes at this point. I think Rosalee really flipped the switch for her. Like, that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth has lost a lot. Like, John is gone, and like
she hasn't
that's too much. It's too much. Yeah, she wasn't able. That's too much for one person to handle. And yes, she has Georgia there with her, and Georgia.
Oh,
how is Georgia?
Georgia.
Look at you like she's passing.
You know, it was a few times where
I thought that's what they were trying to do with her hair, and I was like, okay,
but no, but you can still see it.
Yeah,
you can see it in her, the black. You can see
when
her
she was first introduced on the show, when Elizabeth went with like the little secret basket or whatever they were supposed to have. I thought, because she was acting real cold, so I thought that she may have been like either a light skin who may have some identification issues, or that she was white. Like, that's what I thought. And then she started talking, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe she's like a Rosalee who has a dad that's white.
Yeah,
and,
she's definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised, and I've always just felt a little iffy. Like, Georgia, she be playing the fence. Like, she's just suspect.
That was a serious crime back then, to try to pass as white. And you actually had to look white. And there were people who actually did look white, and they passed as white. So I found it interesting when they said she was trying to pass, and it was like, who you trying to fool?
Right.
Who you fooling, girl?
Right. She is very fair skinned, but still, like I said,
and the context
features, like
yeah,
it was, to us it seems obvious, but like I said, the way they were doing everything in the show, it was like, okay. And then there was one part where she was walking freely, you know. So it was like, okay, well, is she just a free black
I thought she's a free black. She's free.
Yeah.
But I thought she was just free. She's mixed or something, but she's free, but not passing as white.
Yeah.
So that was just like a surprise. Like, oh, that explains the contacts in the hair. I get it. But then we see that she gets arrested. Like, they get raided. And Rosalee, big ups to Rosalee. I thought she was going to be all feeble in bed, but not Rosalee. She was like, I'm getting a shoe. I'm hiding. Somehow she was shaking in the dark. Like, I was like, Rosalee's strong. Like, she's been through so much. And they said she couldn't even get out of the bed. And she did. She hid. As they raided the whole house looking for Georgia to arrest her for pretending to be something that she's not. Yeah. And that was a serious crime, and the fact that she did it. It just shows a lot about Georgia. We've seen so many different arcs of Georgia, first and last episode when she doesn't like to public speak. But then she's doing something that's so bold to do, and she wasn't even scared. She was like, I'm Georgia.
I mean, because technically Elizabeth could be arrested too, or her and John, had they found out that they were laboring slaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So Georgia passing as white, like, I mean, I missed pieces of the episode because my service was going in and out, but I feel like she may have had a good cause to try to pass as being white if it was for the greater good of everyone else. You know what I mean? Opposed to just like staying under the radar and trying to be free or whatever.
Yeah, because I wonder why, because she had freedom papers. That's what she told Elizabeth to go get. So did she get her freedom papers by pretending to be white, or why? Because that was on her freedom papers when Elizabeth read it. She was like, oh, I didn't know you were passing as white. I'm sure Elizabeth knew she wasn't white. We had that debate, and she was like, oh, you were passing. So I wonder why she did have to try to pass when she probably already had freedom papers. It's an interesting thing.
I think it's so interesting. One of our viewers, shout outs to Lacey Chapman, who says she thinks Elizabeth is passing.
Elizabeth,
that would be hilarious. That'd be hilarious if Elizabeth was passing.
Funny. No, that's funny you said that, because she has a unique look. She's very beautiful, but she does have a very unique look.
Yeah, she does.
So
She's gorgeous.
That's funny.
Okay, so then we talk about Ernestine
and Clara. I love their storyline.
Yeah. There's a lot of dual storylines in this one.
Yes.
A lot of people are linked up together in their storylines. But we see Augustine is being berated because what's the
Geechee people are like trying to figure out why Ernestine, like, they believe that she must have taken some poison to have like masterminded her to hallucinate, to kill herself. But she's on opiates. She's addicted to these drugs. No one knows that.
Are they making her sick because she's at this time
she has withdrawal? She's going through withdrawal.
She's going back.
But she's trying to kick the habit.
Yeah, she's trying to get rid of it.
And this is what happens when you're trying to kick that dope.
It's nice that on this plantation, though. What?
Sorry, I'm having a moment.
We know that.
Wait, what happened over there? No, y'all were having a moment.
We were having a moment.
No, I was just saying it's nice that on this plantation, everybody's very a family unit. They all come together. They really want to, invite. Ernestine's like a new person in this,
Yeah.
And they really want to bring her into the folds and like try to get her
You know what point connected what you just said for me? When I discovered that they're on an island and not just any kind of plantation. That's what made it makes sense why they're so family, like why they're so family oriented, or why they're so close knitted, because they're not in like a huge country with different states. You know what I mean? They're on an island, but so far you can go, and everybody knows everybody at this point.
Right.
So it makes sense that they, went in and tried to save her and want her to be better, or trying to figure out what it is that she's going through.
I think it's interesting because we've never seen a slave show or movie where it's a plantation on an island.
Yeah. Right.
And it's so beautiful, and
it's awesome.
They're always like frolicking.
I'm trying to tell people, I'm like, listen, the slaves went everywhere.
That's what I was going to say. That's what the show is so great.
They know people all the time hear me speaking Spanish. They're like, wait, I went to a black college, and they'll be like, wait, you're black and you speak Spanish? Yes, people. Black people went everywhere. There was slavery in Dominican Republic too. So, man, it's a whole other thing.
It's cool.
I'll be here all night talking about that too. Moving on.
No, but I love Clara's character. She's so cute, but we see her trying to get Ernestine to show her how to sway the white man.
Yeah,
to get power, show her the moves. And it's crazy that there's a lot of gossip going on because everybody knows about Ernestine. They all know that she was sleeping with Master. That's why she got kicked out here and now.
But how does wait?
I don't understand how
does it. First of all, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. Where the gossip
like, they got us.
But where the whispers coming from? Because those plantations are far.
Yeah, but people travel and there's nothing to do. Like, after you're done your work, there's nothing to do but to sit around talking.
And talk.
You know,
but I'm like, man, they're on the island.
came from-
She was in Macon, Georgia. Like, I'm like, how?
They
What?
talk.
It came from whoever got her, whoever brought her.
Oh,
Talking
yeah,
to
yeah,
one of the
somebody
slaves.
overhearing.
Then
Right.
they heard Master talking about how Ernestine did this, and then they went to go
Got
tell
it.
their buddy, and then they buddy, and now it's all over the island. How Ernestine was a
Don't be saying that about
Stop
Ernie. Don't be
it.
saying that about
Stop
Steen.
it.
Don't be saying. I love how she's always lounging, like taking her bath.
Chilling.
Oh
She's
my
chilling.
God.
I'm like, she took another bath. I ain't never
Oh,
seen
that
her.
milk
She-
bath. That's
milk
why
bath.
her skin's so smooth. She got that
I'm
good
like,
skin.
she's still living. She done been moved and she's still living.
But Clara says she wants some power.
I know. Shoot, Claire's
said,
like, she's tired of Hicks.
Well,
After what
she
Hicks
was
did to her,
powerless
yeah.
in that situation. You know, it's like, it's so crazy because I think like younger Ernestine, would she have that same would that be the same conversation she had with someone or had with herself? Like, I want some power. I'm tired.
That's why Clara and Ernestine's relationship is so beautiful, though, because you
It's a
see,
mirror.
it's not only is a mirror. You kind of see how Clara looks up to Ernestine.
Yes.
It's like you have wisdom that I don't have. You have knowledge that I don't have, and I could hate you for so many reasons, but I don't. Like, I want to learn from you. I want to grow from you. You have something that I need to acquire. And even the way, like, she looks at Ernestine in awe. Even when she came up to the, later, she's just like. And it's weird because we're seeing Ernestine as being so low at this point, right? This is one of her lowest points since we've been introduced to her character. However, it's not her lowest point for Claire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that dynamic is just interesting in itself.
Yeah, Claire's came to Ernestine for a lot of, like, when she needs to get an abortion. She needs, like, she looks up to Ernestine.
It's like a big aunt or like a big sister, or like,
Her
that
mother
that
almost. It's
mom.
almost like a motherly,
Yeah.
because we don't. I mean, Claire, her parents aren't.
We
there.
don't know. Well, her dad is there.
Okay, her dad.
Because
But we
her
haven't
dad
been introduced her mom.
Because she's
or
like, my
anything.
father. My father.
What did she say?
My father. I can't do it very well, but that's my attempt.
Okay, so then we get introduced. This was such a beautiful moment, Noah.
Oh my God, Twitter's going insane. Noah Lee.
No,
Hashtag Noah
It
Lee.
was such a
Okay.
beautiful moment. There
not
were
her
no
name.
words when they first reconnect. No words needed to be said.
None.
It was
None.
just touching because the
Right?
music
and
was
I felt
that
like there
make
was one
love
part though.
music.
Rosalee was like, her hand was shaking. It was close to his face, but kind of in the middle. Like, are you real? Like,
Yes,
are you really
it's
true?
this moment, like,
Okay.
You know, when you
but
feel
are
for
really
somebody,
here.
your body just shaking every time you near
And
them.
they
You
picked
know?
the perfect-
Lena, tell us more, because we don't know what that is like,
Like,
actually.
you can't even stay still. You're like, oh, you finna touch me.
Somebody come get her.
Somebody come get
I
her.
haven't been touched by a man in a while.
Let me tell you though, they picked the perfect soundtrack under that. Oh my
Yeah,
they
God.
did.
Music.
That was baby making music
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
Like,
We'll talk about the music later, but
I
that
was
was
so happy to see
bombastic.
that though. Yeah.
when he opened the door, the look on his face, like he had me
Yeah.
at hello.
I feel like I'm about to
He-
cry.
Seriously.
I don't, like, again, like, just thinking about, like, their chemistry throughout this episode, period. Like, the
Yeah.
reconnect. Oh, my goodness.
It was I'm loving the way, because if in the first season when you saw them in scenes together, it was different, and now this season it's like it's close.
Yeah.
It's like, even when, like, I don't want to skip all the way, but when he was given the ring, like that kind of emotion, even as actors,
She's
it's
also
like,
grown as a woman. Since,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
That's what she was saying. She's like, I'm strong now. I've changed.
She
Yeah.
was a very meek kind of. She was a virgin girl. She,
Yeah.
she was house.
she was a virgin girl.
A virgin.
Yeah, she was also a house girl,
virgin girl.
so she didn't know much, you know,
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as strength. She didn't have to be as physical.
Right, and like Ernestine said before, she did all the things she did it so Rosalie wouldn't have to.
Right.
So she was able to kind of keep her head down and,
Right.
and be meek and be
That
quiet
was
and just
interesting when
coast
Clara
through.
asked her that, like, did you teach Rosalie any of this? So she was like, no, I didn't want Rosalie to have to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. Ernestine has always been protective of her kids, and her
Yeah.
kids always came first, no matter what she had to do. Sleep with Master, do that, kill somebody.
Her story, though, gives us so much perspective on parents in general, because we know that Ernestine's always protected her kids, but her kids never really felt that way. And we saw that when
that's
her
true.
son came back to visit her, you know,
Right, yeah.
throughout the hallucination. We see her being the
Yeah.
strong, mothering type, but for the other side, like us as children, sometimes we don't see that side of our parents. We're like, no, you're not protecting me. No, you're not mothering me. You're doing X, Y, and Z, but it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that they give us that. Yeah. And then we're kind of like just hoping that Rosalee can see the sacrifices and etc.
And we,
Ernestine, I was just to say, like, Ernestine was throwing all these gems, like, find something real in the lie. And men like to feel like they showing you things.
I was writing notes. I was like,
shut your
like,
mouth and listen. I was like,
I need what to twerk it.
So wait, but that's so true. Like, men like to feel needed. They like to feel like they can help you. So it's like, let me show you. Let me, and you'll be like, oh, okay.
What kind of men y'all know?
Oops.
Damn. I mean, that sounds like little boys that need to know how to. That they,
it's
their
ego.
Yeah.
Their ego and their sense of like wanting to be needed. You know, like he said, I built the house brick by brick. He wants to build that. I mean, that's a man's man. Not every man set up like that in 2017. True. But like certain men's men is like, I want to build a house. I want to lay this foundation for you. I want to do this.
Right. They want to be the protector.
Do it.
Like,
my panties got wet when he
wait,
get her. I got a house I'm gonna build for you.
See?
I was like, what you say that again?
I done told y'all to get her. Like, she's still here.
Censor Lina right now.
Still here.
If you ain't gonna sit here and see what this man's, you want to go back to naked.
Birthday just passed. Whoa. What happens around birthdays?
You see, you know what?
You change when your birthday comes.
You know, no. I don't claim that. So Lina and I just had birthdays, and clearly her new age has changed her. While I'm still here, you know. I'm still intact and normal.
Your perspectives change, okay? God. Anyways, speaking of perspectives that change, Kato.
Wow.
Kato in this speech that he gave.
All this money. Listen.
But he said some truth. What did he say
he was
about the
some
money?
Truth. They are slaves to capitalism.
Slaves to capitalism.
Yeah. And I was like, not much has changed.
No, it's
like
still.
till this day, and then it's not just. It's not a white thing. Like it doesn't. It's a social economical issue. Every race, every color or creed. There's money is the root of evil, and it's not necessarily the actual money, but it's the love of money. And so the love for money, the love for capitalism, more. I mean, you see it. Greedy. Bigger, better cars, trading in our phones every 2 years. Like it's like no one makes things to last any longer.
Right.
So.
Because we live in a popcorn society.
And that's what Kato was saying, like the money, it was power. He's like, this is how he hurt them.
That's right.
You get this, you get this money up, that's where you hurt them. That's how you get them back.
This is where we give credits to the writers of this show.
For sure. Because come on, writers of Underground.
Like, not only are we living through that era, it's also so connected to today.
Right.
Yes.
It's so like it's so in sync, and it's not everyone can bring that to life and make it happen the way that we're experiencing it.
Yeah, but money speaks. It's always
Money
been
does
the
talk.
thing that drove empires, that brought down nations. Money speaks. And when he said that speech, I was like, this man right here. Now he know what he ain't going at. Like a lot of people want to use fists. What?
I thought you was gonna.
A lot of people want to use the fighting and guns, but he's smart. He's like, this is how I'm going to approach this.
Well, that's where the fighting and the guns happen anyway. It's always over money.
Yeah.
Most wars, oil, not weapons of mass destruction. You know, like, and even in the Civil War, it was about slavery, but it wasn't about slavery. It was about money because of the slaves. You know, the South just had way more money and had more power in the Senate vote because it was a money issue, people. So yeah, that hurting their pockets is what eventually led to the Civil War.
Right. Yeah. And then in this, is it this? Yeah, it is the scene. We're introduced to Frederick Douglass.
Yes. Yes.
Played by John Legend.
Which is so funny to me.
It's
I
hilarious.
was waiting to see when he was going to pop up.
Because he's so light bright. And Frederick Douglass wasn't light.
Well, not even that. Not even that. I thought about that. I
wasn't even thinking about it.
I thought about it.
I was like, colorism. Where's the colored man?
It's like there was a show where they changed the mama out and she started off light skinned and then she
Are you talking about Fresh Prince?
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you at least stay similar? So
They
we're
did
not
that
confused?
on My Wife and Kids as well.
I'm confused. Oh, Empire. They did that on Empire too, and they had Kelly Rowland play the mom, and then it ended up. Then the older mom didn't look nothing like her.
Shorter,
Yeah, it was like
lighter.
What's happening?
and you sit there confused, like, huh?
It was interesting to watch John Legend play Frederick Douglass because I feel like I know him so well just through his music, right? So,
Y'all besties?
girl, hello.
I'm sorry.
We've been besties
That's
since
face.
we've been besties since Ordinary People. Okay.
Okay. All right, girl.
But no, even just like watching them because he was at the premiere. He came to the premiere with his wife
Yes.
and watching how he
Chrissy
interacts.
Teigen?
Yeah.
Watching how he interacts and watching him on Snapchat and him on Twitter and just everything that he does. Like he kind of gives us his fans a piece of him. So to watch him play Frederick Douglass, I kept seeing John Legend. Like I didn't see Frederick Douglass, and not to say that he didn't do a great job. I don't know if I'm just so
You
consumed.
just couldn't see past.
Did
him.
you see La
John
La
Legend.
Land? Did you see him in La La Land?
I haven't watched La La
You
Land.
haven't seen
No.
it? Yeah, I mean, because he's such a big name, it's kind of hard to get
Right.
past that. But I wonder when he was gonna pop up in the series because
Yeah.
he's a producer, he
Yeah.
does the music. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he gonna get his acting credit up in here. He gonna get his acting credit, and he played Frederick Douglass. I'm like, come on, John.
Well, he's one of the executive producers. He can do that.
He can have his pick.
You can
Like,
put
I wanna be
yourself in.
Frederick.
if
You go. It was
Okay,
a great
fine,
job.
John.
I think he did a good job, though. I mean,
Again, money talks. He's putting the money in the show. He got some power.
okay. So then we see Clara go get her man.
She got the master.
She got her groove back. I guess she took
Well, they
all
just
of
kissed.
No, it was cute when Ernestine took her to bring the bread. What was that the butter bread?
The bread pudding. Bread pudding.
Bread
pudding.
Bread pudding.
Banana pudding bread.
Bread pudding.
Guys.
She brought him the bread pudding.
Yes.
And it was so cute because, Clara is trying to, do this sexy thing. I'm going to try to get my man. And she's like, she's being all scared. Oh, the horse. And you're like,
I think she was really scared of the
I think
horse,
she
though.
was.
Really? I thought she was
Yeah.
like, oh, don't you make fun of me. I was like, girl.
No, like that. It got
That's
real.
what I
like,
would do. Don't you make fun of
laughing at,
me.
like,
Yeah.
Get her! Somebody.
Well, don't you do that. Ooh, don't make fun of me. That's what I would do.
I can't.
Oh, she would do it. We
Okay.
know Lena's tactics.
So we know that
She
Lena's
plays-
the type to
Lena
like
plays the damsel
play,
in
in
distress.
distress.
do a little bend and
Come
snap,
save me.
Oh my goodness,
I have no game. I have no game, guys. I'm like, ooh, it's a game. No,
Oh my
I
God.
have none.
You know what's cute about that scene? So I talked about like how Claire and Ernestine has this relationship. It was kind of cute the way Ernestine was like, "Okay, it's time for us to get back." It was like your mama lets you go out to play, and then she's
Yeah,
like, "All right,
and
get in the
then reel
house.
it in, reel it
It's time
in.
to go. Let's go."
But there wasn't even tact in that because she was like, "All right, don't look back.
Yeah, don't
and
look
you
back.
gotta leave him wanting for more.
Yeah.
Like, you don't give away too much. Because it's the cat and mouse chase. Nobody wants anything that they get easy.
That come easy.
So I appreciated that. She's like, yo, don't look, but he's looking.
He's looking. I know. I thought she was cock blocking at first. I was like, girl, let her
But
talk
like even
to
in the
him.
beginning when the dog ran up, she actually pushed Kara a little bit, like, oh,
Yeah.
there we go, there we go.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
let him come to you to kind of save you from the dog.
Right.
I
You know,
love
so
her
that's another little
performances. The way
tip
she
there.
walked up over, she was like, hey, I'm sorry about what I did. I'm sorry. I just came to bring some bread for you. I was like, girl, you need to stop, girl. No, but so let's go back to Kato. He's my favorite, as y'all know. I heard somebody else say during that Kato's growing on them. Someone said it.
Somebody-
Don't try to lie. It was you.
It was not me.
You said it.
I wouldn't
Did I?
say a thing.
Someone said Kato. Franceli?
Did I?
I'm sorry, Lena. You by yourself.
He is a.
No, but one of the
People are
guys,
tweeting- yeah,
one
yeah.
of the guys in the chat, Carlos, he says Kato is his favorite character.
Yeah, he grows on
Mm-hmm.
people. Someone else said that he has a heart of gold. Like you could tell he has a hard exterior, but in the inside he has like
That's
this.
probably
I think
why
I
I
always
like
said
him.
that like he is trying to do better. He has his way. He has a different way of going about it, but sometimes he's trying to be helpful and do better.
Yeah,
I said that.
I mean, he has his way.
I think maybe I don't like Kato because him and I are a lot alike. Sometimes when you see somebody,
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
real.
You know how like sometimes when you see certain characteristics, you're just like, and not alike as in I'm just self. Like I don't think that he's overall selfish. I think as when it comes to him having a hard exterior, or even feeling alone and being alone and finding ways to overcompensate, but still having a heart to give, but you have to give in a unique way because you know you live your life a certain way. So I think that's why it's just it's interesting, him and our relationship.
What he's doing though is not
Our relationship. That's cute.
But, you know, it's interesting that you said it because what he's doing is by far not selfish. Even his friend Francis was like, you don't need to do this. You got money. You could go back to England and live like a king with your girl. What he's doing is actually very selfless.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's fighting for something bigger than himself, and I can respect that. No matter, I mean, some of his tactics are a little, you know.
I agree.
But he's doing something that's bigger than himself, and I can always respect that. You know, I always say I want to go out like a hero, so I see that in him. That's something in me, and I'm like that. He wants to go out with a big bang. If he gonna go out, he gonna go out with a big bang, and that's something I can really admire that.
Yeah,
I can definitely admire that, but. In this scene, he starts a gunfight, and it was unnecessary.
Listen, well, Patty and
she had it
August
coming.
crashed the party. They had no business being there
At all.
And it's like he knew Devi was coming. Like there was so much at
going on.
risk in this moment. And then at the same time, he trying to flex a little bit. Now he has some money, some power, some bodyguards. He thinks he can flex.
But
That's the thing. He acts
Hit
like
him with the
he doesn't
flex,
know
you know?
what's my favorite slave owner's name with the son who died.
your favorite slave owners.
Yeah, not slave owner, slave catcher. In the show,
August. Yeah.
Thank you.
We didn't know that from you saying favorite slave owner.
Slave catcher. So I just like August because I don't think that August.
You like him or dislike him?
I like him.
Okay.
I like who he is.
Okay.
And I liked him from the first episode. I don't like that he's a slave catcher, but we know that he didn't even want to be a slave catcher.
Right.
You know
His
what I mean?
wife was in the mental institution.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, Lena ain't with you.
You know what? What's so funny? I liked him a lot in the first season because he was so conflicted, and I
Right.
love confliction in characters.
Clearly.
Well,
But I do, but the decisions that he made, I don't care where you come from, it's what you do. That you are in control of your future,
Right.
what you do.
Right.
And he's made bad decisions. You catching slaves just to help your family, bad decision, man.
Yeah.
You chose wrong.
Right.
You could have done, you're a strong man. There's a lot he can do. And we see that in this episode when he killed all of Kato's men. There's a lot you can do.
That's what I'm saying. So
you
with,
chose the
with
wrong
that,
profession.
we know what he's capable of. So even and Kato should know that too.
Right.
So even before they got into this gunfight, I already predicted that he was going to kill all of Kato's men.
I didn't see that
I
coming.
said as soon as they pull the gun, he's literally just gonna go bada bada bada. We've seen it over and over. This is what he does. Like he takes down one man show. Like he's a one man band.
Yeah.
He's
One
pretty
man army.
powerful. Dang, Patty's smug face. Sometimes I just want
I
to
don't,
punch her.
Patty.
I just like when she showed up at the party and just walked up to him. I was like, please punch her in her face, like her character. But him starting that whole gunfight, I didn't see that coming. I honestly didn't think that August was gonna overpower all those men and just take and the whole thing changed.
Well, she talks about letting the dog out, you know, like, and that's what she did. This man has been like in chains. He's been a slave in a particular way when you're in jail. And the crazy thing about it is like he was using his jail food to make wine, and he's now like a full-blown alcoholic. And so it's like he let him out the cage.
This man got so many talents. He made wine.
He made alcohol out of his food. Yeah, he was getting real creative in there.
But just like Elizabeth, August too has nothing to lose.
He has nothing to lose.
He does.
Yeah.
He lost his son. That's gonna hurt. And what's so crazy about his character, he was on the fence of being the good, fighting those demons, the good one, the bad one. He talked about that in the first season, and that pushed him over. And I think it's really unfortunate because his son was so cute.
And that's probably why I like his character, because that's so real. How many times in today do you have people who are fighting the good and the bad, and sometimes they fall victim to the bad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they're not strong enough to do what's right. Sometimes they're not strong enough to make the right decisions. And then there's nobody in their life to put them back on the right track. And I think that his son was that for him. His son was that one that kind of, like, his son would question him. His son was getting older and got curious.
His son was very wise,
you know?
beyond his years. I think a lot of this episode focused a lot on choices and
Yeah.
before I go to Noah, because Noah really hits
Absolutely,
home
that's
with
my
choice,
favorite
I want to talk about how Debbie comes out of nowhere. Well, we know that Francis went to go
brought
get
back,
Debbie.
yeah.
Poor Francis, his fine self, he died. He got shot. But he was trying to, he wanted his friend. I guess they're friends at this moment, Francis and Kato. He was like, I'm gonna bring Debbie here. This is a price for. I want you to, be happy and stuff. And Debbie gets taken. I don't know what they did with her because we don't see what happens. But I think they took her and Kato and they're holding them as hostage and stuff. But let's go on to Noah and choices. Noah does this very powerful speech when he
So
goes
good.
and proposes.
So good.
I'm such a romantic at heart. It's hard for me to talk about
Oh
this.
my God.
Noah does this powerful speech when he goes to propose to Rosalee. You wish you was that. You're like, I want to be that girl. I want to be that girl. And he's like, wherever.
We're all laughing at her. We're all.
I'm here for
Thank
it.
you. If I start crying, just nudge me.
Okay.
But he talks about choices, and he said he's never been able to make a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
And the first choice that he wants to make as a free man
Child, that had
Lord.
me. That had me right there.
Let the church
propose
say amen.
to Rosalee. And that was such a beautiful moment. This is a man who grew up as a slave, never had a chance to make his life what he wanted to be. We all have that choice.
Right.
Every day we get to wake up and say, hey, am I going to get up and do this? No, maybe I'll stay in bed. This is a man who's never got to do this. And the first choice he makes, and he tells this to Rosalee, and he puts his heart out there. This is after he has the conversation with Elizabeth.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And
I was gonna
Elizabeth
bring
is
that up.
pleading with him. Tell her not to go. She will not. She said it 3 times. She will not go if you stay.
But can we talk about the fact that no one is saying that she's pregnant? She didn't even say that she was pregnant. She's like, I got something to tell you.
She wanted to.
I'm going back. Like, she doesn't tell him. And then people in the chat are angry that, like,
I'm
why
angry,
why
too.
didn't Rosalie get up to say hello to him? I was like, well, first of all, she's
She
the
couldn't,
woman,
and
and
she's
she's
pregnant.
hurt, and she's
she's
pregnant.
pregnant,
right.
But they wanted her to get up and do the big reveal, and I'm like, but she
didn't tell him.
doesn't
She
want to
wouldn't-
tell
right.
him.
But
he
And then
don't see.
Elizabeth thinks he already knows
Right,
and is
yeah,
having this whole conversation.
I was hoping she didn't slip up.
She didn't
Yeah,
because
but-
she
She
already
should have.
She should have.
But she assumed he already knew. So
If-
that great writing on the play on words.
Because if he had known that she was pregnant, he wouldn't
No.
have.
Yeah,
and
literally
when he
would've
finds out,
stopped
he's
her.
gonna be furious.
Yes.
And he would stop, but she knew that because she hesitated. She wanted to tell
Yeah.
him, but there's a hesitation and she decided not to, but that's because she knew that he would stop her from trying to go back.
I don't think it's right, though, for her to do that. That's his baby, and she has put that
That's
baby in a
true.
lot of jeopardy.
It's not right, but
But
you know,
her body.
You were
It's her
talking
decision. Yeah.
about Noah's speech, right? And his monologue. And although I was touched by his affections toward Rosalie, that wasn't none of that stuck out to me. That he said one thing that literally spoke to who I am today and who I'm growing to become. And he
Right.
was just like, freedom isn't a place. Freedom is a choice. And although I'm not a slave and I'm not living in those times, I think that we still fight off things that may keep us as slaves, whether that's social media, whether it's an alcoholism, no matter what it is, we can kind of choose to be captive to whatever that is. So when he said that, I was just like whoa, like glory, hallelujah, like, you know what I mean? And wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that whole entire just scene was...
It's such a
show.
powerful moment, but I want to hurry up and get to the end where Patty takes over Kato's house
Oh my God.
and decides to send August, who is... He's unraveling at this moment.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
She's sending him to
Sending
go
him
get
south.
Rosalie, but he wants to kill Rosalie.
Yeah.
And I don't think she realizes that.
Well, I think she's sending him to go get Ernestine because Kato said the best way to get to her is through her mama.
yeah.
I wish Kato
So
would've lied.
what's gonna happen is they're both going to the Macon plantation because everyone thinks Ernestine is
gonna go
still
to the
at
Macon
Macon,
plantation.
but she's not. So I think they're gonna have a run-in at the Macon plantation.
But this is what's going to get scary because we know that Ernestine has a plan to have Clara help her get off the island.
Right. But
where's
So
she going?
we don't know.
might
But
go
what
back
if
to
she
Macon.
ends up? She's gonna maybe what if she try to retrace her steps starting with Macon, and then now she's in this position where everybody's coming for her and she doesn't even know it.
Oh, and speaking of Ernestine Hicks with his sorry apology, please,
I'm not
boy,
here for him and
Nobody's
his
here
song.
for you in this band. Oh, I'm singing a little song.
I've never
Sit
been here
down.
for him. She said, "You don't know me."
You
don't
she
know
did that
me.
part. That's somehow I
strike
would have
me.
done it. You
I loved how she said this thing that we do to each other, hurting each other over and over again. We're just retelling the story.
Yeah.
So true.
I was like,
Life today, like so true.
the abuse, like the hitting, they get hit by the masters, and he's going around hitting us.
It kind of still happens.
It's
in
a
our
sick,
community
twisted
and
thing, but
relationships.
hey, this was a really good episode. You got some fun facts for us?
I do got some fun facts. I mean, I already told y'all about August making drinks out of his jail food, but passing at that time wasn't just about if you looked black or white, because we're all like, but she totally looks black, but it was more about if you were educated, because black people weren't allowed to read, let alone study French, and she knew French. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why people could pass for white at that time. And also, if you were 1/8 black, supposedly you were able to pass for free at the time.
Oh, right.
So that's because on the actual freedom papers it says can't pass for white. So that's one of the things that was allowed back in those days. And then I want to talk about the music, people. The music. There's the
it's
music
always
list
so
on
great.
the
It's so
screen. It's always so good. Take me inside, make $1, get out of my house, and way down we go. Put it on your playlist. It's on mine for my running. You already
you
know.
said take me inside. I was like, what? What? Can we just talk about the music?
And shout out to
about?
the woman director of this episode, Kate Woods. I love it when women direct.
Yeah.
It was such a good episode.
Yes.
And those are my fun facts, y'all.
Prediction time.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think I'm gonna cheat because we have a preview for next week, and it's just gonna focus kind of on one character, and then also what you said about everybody kind of coming to Macon. I agree with you
Yeah.
with that. I think that's gonna happen, and I'm kind of wanted to and excited to see if that it unfolds that way. But that's all I have right now.
Yeah.
Predictions.
Yeah, Macon is going down at the plantation. I already know that much. I think that there's going to be a scene with Devi and Kato. They're basically...
Gunshot.
They're captured, but they haven't seen each other or talked since he left her like some mistress hoe. So he you know, she gonna have some words for
Women
him.
empowerment.
There's gonna be a throwdown on that one. And I definitely... Ernestine has an escape plan, and I think that Hicks is gonna try to like tell on her, is gonna sabotage her to leave, because he's manipulative, abusive men. It's not just hitting; it's also psychological, and keeping her enslaved to him, like he used with the drugs. That's his goal: is to keep her enslaved to him. So it's gonna go down.
I feel like Rosalee's gonna have her baby on the road.
Ooh,
really?
Yeah, I think that
Her
they're-
water's gonna break?
How many months is she?
We don't
We don't know.
really know.
They don't know.
She's pretty
my,
big,
my
though.
prediction
She's
is that
pretty
they're
big.
going to be out saving the world in whether it's stress, pressure, no matter what it is.
How's she gonna hide that belly from her?
That's
How's
what I'm
she gonna
saying.
hide
That's
that
what I'm
from
saying.
him?
It's gonna be big. That's what's gonna happen next
Yeah.
episode. It's gonna explode. Like he gonna be like, what?
Girl, you better sit down. You ain't going nowhere. I predict, he's gonna find out that she's pregnant and might try to prevent her from going. And I think that's where Harriet's gonna step in, you know, and maybe try to help out and save them. I don't think the Macon showdown's gonna happen for another 2 more episodes at least, because that's gonna be a big showdown.
Yeah.
Because everybody gonna end up meeting at that place where it all started. And that's gonna probably be towards the end, because you know how they do
could be
full
like
circle.
the
It's so
finale. Yeah.
symbolic, and they do a full circle thing. So that's probably what's gonna go down. Yeah, so that's my prediction.
We just have to be patient until next week.
We will see. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. And remember to hashtag ABTV Underground or hashtag Underground WGN. And you can find me, Lina Green, at Just Lina Green on all social media.
And you can follow me on all social platforms at hey_it's_lay. That's hey with an A.
Hey y'all, you already know what time it is. Make sure you hang out with me at Selly Hangout.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Lynneisha_33.
Yay, thanks,
Until
guys.
next time.
See y'all
Bye,
next
guys.
week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.